Hello everyone, and welcome to the second installment of my Don't Starve theories. After receiving a pretty large amount of support for my last theory video, the Murnum theory, which is honestly a pretty good video that you should totally watch if you haven't already, I've decided to make a second theory on another topical thing that I've seen almost everywhere in Don't Starve's universe, but nobody has ever actually made a video about it yet. However, I'm not ready to disclose what the topic or title is yet, and instead, I'm gonna have you all guess what it is. With that being said, let's get into it. Don't Starve's world mainly takes place in a theoretic dimensional space, seemingly locked in a timeless dilation known as the Constant. But as for when in the real world, Don't Starve takes place during the 1910s and 20s, as has been disclosed by various links of evidence. Do you know what other two significant events take place during these times? The stock market crash and World War I. However, we don't know too much about the real world of the past outside of the Constant, therefore we could assume that the First World War, or as it was called at the time, the Great War, may have never even existed. However, if that is true, I have a troubling question about Wagstaff.
Pull up in aria, painted with some decals.
Why does he resemble Albert Einstein, and more specifically, a younger version? And furthermore, it seems like he's consistently drawn to stuff that has rather good consequences at hand, but horrendous side effects. Sure, it could be a reference to someone simply seeming or being far more intelligent than originally perceived, but it's not like game franchises to leave pieces of falsified evidence to intentionally throw theorists off. That has absolutely never been done before. That stuff would literally be the fuel of nightmares. Furthermore, why do feral pigs in the forge wear pickelhaube hats, a helmet iconic to the World War I German and 1800s Prussian armies? It's as if the pigs are not only symbolic, but also have localized sympathies in the upcoming or even current war. And yes, it was normal in these times for random wild animals to also join in on trench warfare, and in other militaristic combat on the front lines. There is even a documentary about a pig nation turning communist before the events of World War II, during the events of World War I.
Among Us!
And what do we see in Don't Starve? Sentient pigs whose current government ideology is a bit of a mystery. All we know is they like their meat, maybe even a little too much. However, if all of this is true to pigs eating meat in World War I as communists on the front lines, how did the ancient soldiers of World War I get their meat? We see pigs eating meat in Don't Starve and in the front lines of World War I, but we also see other pigs as well, and even hounds. Rather a frightening resemblance if I do say so myself. There is actually a lot of evidence for this theory. Take a look at a standard Don't Starve character in Don't Starve lore, SCP-106. SCP-106's origin is he was a soldier in World War I who ate meat but then fell into goo and then became a dimension-hopping monster. This is all after only eating meat and falling into goo. That's not normal. What's even more frightening is the food eaten by the ancient soldiers of World War I, or rather their lack of. There have never been any instances of ancient soldiers eating anything. There weren't even any recorded cases of them having food. It's as if they don't have any, because they don't need any. The reason why is because the ancient soldiers of World War I are actually robots. Let's take a look at the evidence. The ancient soldiers never ate food because they don't need it anymore. It looks a little purple anyways. However, the animals in World War I did eat food. This is proven with the pig in the documentary. However, do you know what else is an animal? A bear. And do you know what else is a bear but is not an animal? Freddy Fazbear. He is a robot, therefore he is not an animal but he is a bear. Another instance of robots in World War I. Poppy Playtime is also a robot with meat in it. Look at how much she squirts when I throw her inside the Stanley Parable Bucket Destroyer.
You can't do this to me!
Therefore, she must have consumed meat, though is also a robot. This confirms it. The meat-laden robots of World War I and Don't Starve are actually something else entirely. But I still have one question for you. How do the Don't Starvers know how to make the robots? Everybody knows that the only way to build a robot is to be technologically advanced, and the only way to be technologically advanced is to be in space. And do you know what video game takes place in space that was said when the Among Us pig said Among Us?
Among Us!
That's right, the clues match the evidence. Don't Starve actually takes place in space, which lines up with the fact that time doesn't pass. Everybody knows time doesn't pass in space. And with that being said, this is the Don't Starve World War I SCP-106 Robot Invasion 5 Nights at Poppy Playtime Meet at 3 AM challenge gone south. Okay, obviously this isn't the actual theory, but this isn't just a prank though. I do have an actual theory coming out sometime this week, and I did promise you guys a hint. I'm still not going to reveal what the name is, but hey, maybe you can figure it out with just this image alone.